Welcome to you if you're watching this video on demand. Welcome to you if you're watching on demand. We'll be getting started in just a few moments. Welcome again if you're watching this video on demand. Welcome again if you are watching this video on demand. We will be getting started in just a few moments. All right, looks like we got one person in the room here. I am going to set my devices to do not disturb, and we're going to get started. It looks like we've got up to 4 people in the room now, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Do not disturb is now set. Good evening to you. Welcome to this special Sunday evening edition of Maddie's Rap Live. Tonight, we are going to be talking about the war between Israel and Hamas. And we're going to be using astrology and numerology to take a different approach to trying to make some sense of what happened on October the 7th with this war began with a sneak attack, some call it a surprise attack by the Palestinian group called Hamas. And if you've been following any type of Middle East news, you know that Hamas and Israel have been beefing for quite some time. Well, this attack seemed to come out of nowhere, and some of the reports have been saying that it was well organized, well planned. And I will tell you that after looking at the astrology of it, there's certainly no way that this was just something that somebody pulled out of their rear end. This was planned. This was organized. The astrology supports it. So I'm going to jump right in on that. We're going to begin by looking at the current astrological placements of 1, the North Node, and 2, the planet Mars. Now, for those of you who are new to astrology, you don't know a whole lot about it. You maybe know a little bit about natal chart astrology, such as your rising sign, your moon sign, your sun sign, but you don't know a whole lot about the other signs and how those energies affect you. The North Node is what is called a lunar node, and it is a sign. Hey, hotshot. Hey, thank you so much. Allie, what's up, Allie? Thank you. Thank you guys for joining. The North Node is considered the lunar node of destiny. So you got the North Node, and then you've got what's called the South Node. The North Node in a birth chart tells you what sign the lunar node was in, which again is the node of destiny, what sign that node was in at the time that you were born. But when you get around to talking about day-to-day world astrology, and that's certainly something I don't do a lot with. You guys that watch my channel on a regular basis, by the way, welcome to you if you are new to this channel and thought the title was interesting enough to click on, and welcome back to my returning subscribers, and shout out to those of you who are on, or some of the first ones on every live I do. Shout out to you. I love you guys so much. You know it. So getting back to my point, the North Node is the placement of destiny. It tells you what direction you're supposed to be going on or in your personal life. Well, with regards to world events, the nodes tell you, they sort of give you some sense of direction that the world at large is going to be moving in. It is an energy that affects everyone on the planet. It sometimes can blend harmoniously with your personal destiny point, which is your North Node, but it can also sometimes cause conflict with it. But in the case of the world at large, that node tells you, it gives you some sense. It helps make some sense of the events that are happening in the world. In other words, you can't look at the North Node and say that this thing is going to happen in this country, or that thing's going to happen in this country, or this region, or these people per se. But when things do happen, you can take a look at that North Node and see where that energy that is present in the earth may have affected some of those events. And I'm here to tell you that with the North Node, and the North Node changes every 18 months, roughly every 18 months, the North Node changes signs. The North Node left the sign of Taurus back in the summer and entered into the sign of Aries. So the nodes proceed in the reverse direction of what the normal signs proceed. So in other words, in normal day-to-day astrology, month-to-month annual astrology, 12 sign cycle astrology, you have Aries, and then Taurus, and then Gemini, and then Cancer, and so forth. Well, with the nodes, it goes the opposite direction. It'll go Cancer, Gemini, Taurus, and Aries. The North Node entered Aries back in the summer, roughly around July. I don't have that date right in front of me, but the North Node entered Aries in July. Now, what's important about Aries? Aries in astrology is considered the energy of war. It is ruled by the planet Mars. Those of you who have studied mythology in school, everybody, I think, in the United States took some degree of mythology when studying world history in junior high or high school. In mythology, Mars is considered the god of war, okay? In astrology, Mars is the planet or the energy of war, okay? War is one of the things. It is action. It's some other things as well, but it is a masculine energy, okay? With the nodes, you have a north node and a south node. North is what? 180 degrees away from the south. So if the north node is in Aries, the south node is in Libra. I'm going to tell you why that's significant here in just a moment. But let's deal with Mars. I just told you Mars equals war for the most part. Not all the time. Like everybody has a Mars sign, but Mars is the energy that is engaged in conflict. Okay, that's probably a better way to explain it. Mars is the energy that is engaged in conflict. So when you have something happening like what is happening right now in Israel, one of the first things you want to do is you want to look at, okay, what's the North Node and what sign is Mars in? Well, Mars is technically in the sign of Libra. Not technically, Mars is sitting in the sign of Libra right now. Now, we know that Libra sits 180 degrees opposite of Aries. Aries, again, is that ram, is the bull in the china cabinet. Aries in some mythological circles is the god of war, okay? Aries ruling planet is Mars. So with Mars not being in Aries, but being in Libra, which is the opposite, Mars is uncomfortable. Why? Because the opposite energy of war is peace. So the opposite energy of the opposite energy of Aries is Libra. The opposite energy of Mars is Venus. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, peace, all things beautiful and gentle. Venus is the planet or energy that rules the sign of Libra. So when you have the planet of Mars that wants to proceed forward in action and wants to tear something up, sitting in the sign of Libra, it is agitated because that energy is being held back by the pacifist Libra, aka also ruled by Venus. If I'm losing anybody, stop me and drop a question in the chat box, okay? I want you guys to stick with me because this is going to explain, as I proceed through this is going to explain what's happening. I wanted to give you guys a backdrop for those of you who are new to astrology or don't really understand it. So currently, Mars, which is the energy of conflict, is sitting in the sign of Libra, which is the energy of peace, okay? Now, the current astrological season that we're sitting in right now is Libra, all right? And I just said this a minute ago, the current lunar node or the node of destiny is Aries. The North Node is in Aries. So that is the energy that is present in the earth right now, the energy that is affecting the earth's energy as a whole. That is, it is in Aries until January of 2025. So we're going to be sitting in this North Node in Aries for quite some time. We just entered it back in July. Now, with the North Node being in Aries, that means the South Node is in Libra. So already we have the energy of conflict in the cosmos, which as above, so below. We have the energy of cosmos in the atmosphere. This is why a lot of people who are intuitive right now and a lot of people who are consider themselves empaths, I've been reading this, I've been hearing it, I've been feeling it myself. This uneasiness that sort of started back in the summer and it has progressed. Nobody knew this was going to happen, though. Nobody knew this was going to happen. Let me explain a couple more things here before I proceed, because I'm going to finish up this astrology and then I'm going to get into some interesting numerology that, again, helps to shed some light on what's going on right now in the land of Israel. So we explained that Mars wants to go to war. Libra wants to be at peace. Mars is sitting in Libra. Mars wants war. It doesn't like being in the sign of peace. The current season right now is Libra season. Now, those of you who follow me on my channel, you know about maybe 2 weeks ago, I dropped a video about what was going to be coming forward with this particular Libra season, and that a lot of things were going to be disrupted Libra is the energy of balance. So when things are out of balance, disruption happens in order to bring things back into balance. I dropped that video. It was a bold prediction by some accounts. I had a couple of people that dropped comments under that video, and I'll put a link to that video in. Let me just pause for a moment and pull that up for those of you who want to see it. I did this the other night, so let me do this again. Let's go here right now. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this up and put it on the screen for you guys. I'm not going to play that video, but I want you guys to see the title. And I realize that I don't have it. I'm not sharing the screen. Give me 1 second here. Okay, let's go here. Let's see, Matt D. Telford. Okay, there we go. Videos. Where is it? Libra season. Okay, I'm going to pause it. Libra season 2023. The time is now. Universal restoration of balance, truth, justice, and harmony. Interesting title for what's going on right now, because it seems like everything but that. But stay with me. I dropped that video. What's the date on that? September 27th. It was just 1 week ago. Just a week ago. Okay. So let me jump back over here. We're going to remove this. And so now, Libra season is about peace, but oddly enough, the hottest region in the world for the last 2,000-3,000 years is at war again. Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit, because I want to show you something now. Again, Aries is the current lunar node. So this energy, this Aries Ram, warlike, action-like, fire, passion, fiery, passionate energy is not going anywhere for a while. It is going to have to contend with some of the other astrological energies. But right now, with Mars being in Libra, it's just a reflection of the agitation. Now, let me get on to some powerful numerology here. We know that those of you who are Bible heads, you grew up in church, you know maybe a little bit about numerology. You know that the number 7 is a powerfully significant number, right? 6 days God worked in creating the earth. 6 days God worked. On the 7th day, he rested, okay? 7 is considered the number of completions as well as new beginnings, right? So when we get to the 7th day of the week, the 7th day of the week is the end of the old week, but it technically signals the beginning of the next week. So 7 is the energy of completion and new beginnings. 7, the 7th day, is also the Sabbath day, right? Now I'm going to get onto that. Hold on. Some of y'all already want to jump ahead because you know what happened, right? 7, the 7th day of the week, is the Sabbath day, okay? 2023, the year 2023, numerologically speaking, is a 7 year. How do we get to that, Matt? 2, when anytime you want to do a numerological reduction, you take whatever that long string of numbers is and you continue to add them up until you can reduce them down to a single number. So when you're looking at the year 2023, you have 2 plus 2 equals 4 plus 3 equals 7. So 2023 reduces to 7. All right. So 2023, a 7 year in numerology. Libra is the 7th season of the year. There are 12 seasons of the year. I don't want any smart guys in here talking about, no, there are only 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. No. I'm not talking about the cycles, those types of seasons, the climatic seasons. I'm talking about the astrological seasons. There are 12 astrological seasons in the year. 12 houses in astrology, 12 astrological seasons. Aries is the first. Then you go to Taurus, and then Gemini, and then Cancer's number 4, Leo's number 5, Virgo's number 6, and Libra is number 7. Okay. So we are now in the 7th astrological season of 2023, right? So let's do some numerology here. Hamas attacked Israel on the 7th day of October. It was just yesterday that this happened. The 7th day of October, Hamas attacks Israel. It was also the 7th day of the week. Some of the outcry, some of the anger behind what happened is that they called it a surprise attack because they know that the Israeli culture is that of the ancient Israelites, and it is to rest on the Sabbath, to do no work. Everybody pretty much shuts down. So they went and attacked on the 7th day of the week, the Sabbath, okay? Now, We're talking about the attack happened on the 7th of October, which happened on the 7th day of the week in the 7th season of the astrological year in a 7 year. So that is a very powerful energy. And I want to tell you that I don't think that this was random, y'all. I don't think that this was random. I don't think that this was coincidental is the word I'm looking for, not random. I don't think that this was coincidental, because when you understand that the ancients throughout time, and not even just the ancients, we just don't hear about it now because of the influence of the church, but the people at the top of the game, y'all, I have been saying this in a number of my videos for some time now. The people at the top of the game, they operate the same way the rulers, the kings and princes of old did. They all had seers, astrologers, prophets. It just depended on what the culture was. Oracles. They had these spiritual people that understood the cosmos, because the cosmos pretty much are energy. And you guys hear me say this all the time. We are treated like we're these physical bodies, when the truth of the matter is we are energy as well. We are the energy of the cosmos. This is why cosmic events affect us, sometimes in our health, sometimes in our emotions, but we are affected by the energy of the cosmos. Somebody asked me once, they said, Matt, why do you talk about astrology a lot, and you talk about what sign the moon is in and how that affects you and all of this, that, and the third. I don't believe in any of that stuff. And I'm here to tell you that people prepare for the weather, right? They look at a weather forecast, and I'm not telling you to go out and look at horoscopes, because I don't look at horoscopes. I don't believe in them. I'm not saying I don't believe in them. But I don't look at horoscopes, because I don't need to get up first thing in the morning and say, oh, what's going to happen to me today? That's not how I live my life. I'm not knocking you if you do. There's some people that do. I'm not a horoscope guy. But back to my point. People prepare for their week. They prepare for their day. They plan for their day. They plan for their week. They plan vacations around what? Knowing what the weather is. Oh, okay. The weather, it's supposed to be an 80%, 90% chance of rain tomorrow. So our tennis match is going to be postponed. Okay. Well, we wanted to go to the park and roll out a blanket and eat lunch and just enjoy nature, but it's raining tomorrow, so we can't do that. Oh, I want to get on the road and take a road trip, a 4-hour road trip out west to go see my family, but there's a blizzard coming in. I don't want to drive through that, so I stay at home. Oh, you know what? Today is supposed to be a sunny 83 degrees with a gentle breeze. Let's go to the beach. People plan their whole lives around knowing what the weather is, at least from a weekly perspective, not long range. But they plan daily and weekly activities around the weather. Well, guess what? These cosmic energies work the same way, but they're cosmic weather. So when you look at it like that, it puts a different and fresh perspective on it. How is this particular energy? People talk about Mercury retrograde all the time. Hey, be careful doing anything that has to do with communication during a Mercury retrograde, because it can get screwed up. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people over the years during Mercury retrogrades where I wasn't aware of this whole retrograde thing. You send an email, a text or something, and it gets misconstrued, and then next thing you know, you're arguing. Okay, so enough of that backdrop. I just wanted to explain to you guys that in the same token that the weather on the ground affects your life on a daily and weekly basis, the weather of the cosmos, what are these planetary energies and what are their transits? What are they doing? Those affect life on Earth in a similar way. Okay. So now, getting back to this, we talked about the 7th day of October on the 7th day of the week in the 7th season of the year in a 7-year. This attack happened where Hamas went in and surprised the Israeli people and did a lot of damage in the south, okay, in southern Israel. Now, those of you who have gone to Vegas or gone to Atlantic City and played the slot machines, you know the significance of hitting that 777, right? Somebody want to write in the chats what happens when you hit that 777? What happens? Put it in the chat. Oh, come on, y'all. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. All right, while I'm waiting on y'all, I know it was a delay. We did this, we did a live on Friday night, and it was a little bit of a delay, so I'm going to go ahead and answer. When you hit 777s at Vegas, you got jackpot. Whatever the pot is on that machine, you just broke the machine. You getting all the money. You leaving with all the chips. 777 is considered to be lucky, okay? Boom, you just hit the jackpot. This was you're done. You can get up and walk away from the machine now. You made your money. You can go home. When you're looking at quadruple sevens, jackpot. Thank you, Carlton. Thank you. When you are looking at quadruple sevens, I want you guys, I'm going to put this in the chat because I want you guys to look this up. You can copy and paste it if you want into your browser. All right. I just put in the chat angel number 7777 because what you had was an attack that happened under the energy of quadruple sevens. All right. Now, I did some pre-work on this, and I'll tell you what I found. What I found is that the energy of quadruple seven says you are on the right path. So somebody that wants to do something under the energy of quadruple sevens, they're energized to do it. They're like, this is the right thing to do. This is the right time to do it. We got a small window. If we wait until one of the numbers flips to 8, we might lose some of this advantage. Okay. Now I'm here to tell you they still would have had the energy of triple sevens if they waited a day later, but quadruple seven is even more powerful energy. Okay. So you guys can look that up. A lot of people look up angel numbers. They see repeating numbers on license plates. They might see it on the television screen. They might see it on the clock. And this is something that more and more people are getting into. They're called synchronicities. They're also called angel numbers. And people are getting into this because what is becoming more and more understood as we progress toward the age of knowing and leave behind the age of believing, people are getting to the knowledge of the universe operating under 3 things. Frequency, we're all energy. The universe operates under 3 things: frequency, vibration, and numbers. Frequency, vibration, and numbers. Everything is about one of those 3 things. You guys hear me talk about all the time. What energy are you vibrating at? What frequency is your emotions at? Are you high up on the emotional scale? Are you low down on the emotional scale? Raise your vibrations. I talk about that all the time. When you are in high vibrational energy, you attract high vibrational things into your life. When you are in low vibrational energy, you attract low vibrational people, circumstances, and situations into your life. This is why I'm always beating the drum about raise your vibrations. So the universe operates in frequency, vibration, and numbers, right? So let's get back to this because there's something else that is interesting here as well. And I might put this up on the screen. When you're looking at 7777 and you do a numerological reduction on that number, it's 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 equals 28. 2 plus 8 equals 10. All right. Now, let me tell you about that number 10 because there's another energetic tool that has been used that's big time on YouTube right now. Seems everybody's doing it. Tarot. Tarot for the longest time was considered to be evil, considered to be wicked, considered to be a dark practice. That was the narrative put forth by the very people that use tarot, but don't tell you. The highest church officials, okay? The highest people or highest up in the religious structures and institutions, they use the same things that they tell you not to use. And I'm not talking about getting into any dark thing. I'm not telling anybody to do anything they're not comfortable with. But I did a video about 2 years ago breaking down what the vibration of tarot is and that the vibration of tarot matches the same vibration of Torah. Why? You guys can go and look at that video. It was called Torah versus Tarot. It's on my YouTube channel. You can look it up. But in a nutshell, Western language places heavy emphasis on vowels. What vowels do is vowels can serve to manipulate or change or disrupt the vibration of consonants. When you're talking about these early Eastern languages and even some European languages, they were heavy on consonants and light on vowels. In fact, any one of you watching this video right now can say your name without the vowels. Okay, I'm looking at Carlton here in the chat here. If you were to remove that A and that O, you can still say Carlton, but you're just not putting a heavy emphasis on the vowel. It's Carlton. So it sounds more Eastern already just by dropping the vowels from it. I got hot shot up in here. If I drop the O's out of hot shot, it's shit. Now that sounds like something else. So I don't want to say that. No disrespect, hot shot. But again, you take the I and the A out of pizzazz. You got pizzazz. You can still say that. It sounds a lot more Eastern. But what happens when you put vowels in between consonants, you can change the meanings of them, but the vibration doesn't change. So if you understand the meaning of Torah, and y'all, I don't want to give away the video. You can go and look at it. But in a nutshell, Torah means instruction. It means it's the type of instruction that a father gives to his children. Okay, Torah. If you remove the O and the A, it's Torah. Torah. It's the same thing with tarot. In tarot, the ending T is silent, so it makes an H sound. So if you remove the A and the O from tarot, it's Torah. It's the same thing. It's instruction. Okay. So I know I took you all the way around the block to get you to the house next door. When you talk about the number 10 in tarot, there are very two powerful energies there that have to do with masculine energy. Now, I talked about Mars being in the sign of Libra. Mars is considered fire energy. It is a fire element in astrology. You've got 3 fires, 3 airs, 3 waters, and 3 earths. Okay. I won't go through them, but you guys kind of know what they are. Aries, I'll just go through them really quick. Aries is fire. Aries is cardinal fire. Leo is fixed fire, and Sagittarius is mutable fire. When you get to the air, now the fire and the air signs are considered masculine energy. The water and the earth signs are considered feminine energy. We know that war is a product of masculine energy. It's not a product of feminine energy. I gave you the fire signs. The air signs, cardinal air is Libra, fixed air is Aquarius, mutable air is Gemini. I won't deal with the water and the earth because that doesn't apply to this video. So you've got 2 masculine energies, Mars and Libra, at play here and in the middle of a war. We know that war is masculine energy. Now, when you talk about that number 10, since we are dealing with air and fire being Mars and fire being Aries, and I'm sorry, let me leave the planet out of it. Fire being Aries because the node is in Aries, the north node is in Aries, and then Libra being air because the season is in air. Well, when you deal with the number 10 in tarot, the number 10 fire card is the 10 of Wands. I'm going to bring that image up on the screen in just a moment, and I'm going to tell you what that means. With regards to the number 10 in air energy, you're talking about the 10 of Swords. Both of those are masculine energies, and both of them are very heavy energies. Now, let me bring this up on the screen just a moment here. Let's bring that image of that card up. Let's see. All right, that's a good one. I'll use that one. And then these are from the original tarot deck, Rider-Waite-Smith tarot decks. Let's see. 10 of Wands. I wanted you guys to learn something tonight because all of these things play in. All right, so let's do this, and let's get this up on the screen for you guys. Okay. As you can see, this is the 10 of Swords. Look at the energy of that card. That's someone that has just had it. Now, the thing to remember in tarot is that 10s are the end of cycles, okay? So this is the 10, it brings about the end of a painful cycle when you're talking about the 10 of Swords. When you're talking about the 10 of Wands, look at the image you have on the screen here. A guy carrying 10, he's carrying a heavy load. So you're talking about the energy of 10 again, 10 of fire or 10 of Wands, and then 10 of Swords or 10 of air. Air is Libra. Wands, air is Libra. Fire is Aries. Okay. The North Node currently is in the sign of Aries, and Mars is in Libra, and we're in Libra season. So this is very heavy energy, and I'm here to tell you that this is the energy of war. I just showed it to you on the screen there with those 2 tarot decks. So you got the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Swords. How did we get at those 10s, Matt? You had quadruple 7s. 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 28. 2 plus 8 equals 10. Okay, those 10s apply to the energy that is going on right now. So, completions of cycles. Okay, wands of fire, action. Okay, wands, fire, actions and deeds. That's what the wands are. Wands are actions and deeds because they're fire. Swords are air. Air energy is words and thought. Okay, so you're talking about the end of a painful cycle of actions and deeds. What did I say? The end of one thing is always the beginning of something new. There's no such thing as death. Death in one stage is the beginning of life in another. All right. So we have to keep that in mind. Now, swords. The swords is the end of burdensome words and thoughts. When you're talking about air energy, air is about words and thoughts. Okay, Aries is in a fire sign right now, which is the current north node, or Aries is a fire sign, and it is in the current north node. Libra is an air sign, and it's the current season. So we talked about the Ten of Wands, the Ten of Swords. Aries is the beginning of the spring season, where passions are high and new life is conceived. Libra, we're talking about balance here because these energies are on the same axis. One is masculine, one is feminine. Aries masculine, Libra feminine. Aries fire, Libra air. Aries ruled by Mars, Libra ruled by Venus. Okay, so that is pretty much what I had here. I hope you guys, I didn't lose anybody. Lucky Garen said burnings, endings. Thank you. You're so right. Sandy said, I've been seeing quadruple 7 all week. Wow, jackpot. That's correct. That is absolutely correct. So I wanted you guys to see how now I've been looking at a lot of what was going on here, but I got some final thoughts, and then maybe I'll wrap up, or maybe I'll leave the floor open for anybody that's got any questions. I can speak them because these chat replays aren't saved to the live stream once it gets uploaded to YouTube. So I'll just kind of leave it open for questions. If you guys got questions, drop them in the comments. All of this applies. All right. Now I've got here my notes, final thoughts. Another 7-year in the history of the land of Israel. Let's talk about that for a moment. The last time there was a major conflict, war in that same land during a 7-year was 70 AD. 70 AD. 7 plus 0 is 7. So 70 AD was a 7-year. Now, any historian knows what happened during that 7-year. It was pretty much the end of what amounted to about a 5-year war between Rome and, it wasn't called Israel then because the kingdom had split up. It was between Rome and Judah. That was a 7-year. Now, in the fall of that 7-year, the final destruction of ancient Jerusalem took place. This is not insignificant, family. This is why I'm doing this video. This occurred to me just in doing some research and looking into this conflict and the significance of them attacking on the Sabbath day. And then I started seeing all of these sevens, and I'm like, that's not a coincidence. So, but getting back to ancient history, it was in the fall of a 7-year that the final destruction of ancient Jerusalem at the hands of the Romans was carried out. It was in the fall. Fall. What is that word? That word carries its own special energy. Fall. When something falls, I don't need to explain that. We're all smart here. So, you're talking about another 7-year in history where there was a lot of violence and bloodshed in that same land. Now, I'm going to pause for a second and tell you guys, I saw something else. All of these things people are just waking up right and left, and things are occurring to people, and people are seeing things that they never even researched before. It is happening worldwide. It's not just happening for me. It's happening to a lot of you as well. I am going to drop another video. It'll probably be this week's coming Friday Night Live. I'm going to drop a video explaining the link and the story hidden within the Lord of the Rings trilogy and how it applies to the Middle East region. Blew my mind when the light bulb came on and I saw the links. It blew my mind. There's a lot. People often wonder, why is that region always at war? It has everything to do with energy. And there is a link between that region of the world and the film series, The Lord of the Rings. If you guys want to get caught up, you want to do some homework this week and review those. I've watched all 3 movies. I own the trilogy DVD set. I'm going to review it once again this week, leading up to this coming Friday Night Live. But I'm here to tell you that that movie to me holds the secret of why that region is always fighting and why there's so much unrest over there. But anyway, that's just an aside. You guys join me this coming Friday where I'll be breaking that down. Okay. Now, it was a 7 astrological year or a 7-year when Jerusalem fell to the Romans. Okay. I don't think that's insignificant. It also happens to be It also happened in the fall. So the siege of Jerusalem began in the spring. The final blows were dealt in the fall. Okay. So we're talking about similar energy, but nearly 2,000 years later. Okay. And I heard them saying this on television, and some of you guys probably heard this too. This year marks the 75th anniversary of the declaration of the state of Israel. So it's been 75 years. Now, there's some interesting numerology there. If you take 7 and 5 and add them together, you get the number 12. Now, I'm not going to further reduce that down, because when I'm looking at number patterns and I see a 12, sometimes I like to stop at that 12, because we know that 12 is a powerful repeating number that we see in astrology. 12 is the number of the tribes of Israel. 12 is the number of astrological seasons. Okay. 12, if you want to look at the astrological wheel, you have 12 perfect grouping, or you have 12 perfect divisions of 30 degrees. We know that there's 30 degrees in each astrological sign. Okay. So 12, that was powerful. That was powerful to me. That was very powerful. The 75th anniversary, and you're talking about 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 is the end of an astrological cycle and the beginning of another one. All right. When you reach that 12th house, which is ruled by Pisces, which is interesting because Saturn, which is the taskmaster of the astrology, is sitting in the sign of Pisces. So I don't think that's insignificant either, but that's not the direction of this particular video. We're talking about Aries and Mars. Where's Mars right now, and where's the North Node? The North Node is in Aries. Mars is in Libra. Now watch this. On the 13th of this month, Friday the 13th, Mars is leaving the sign of Aries, where it's not comfortable. Remember, Mars wants to go. Mars wants action. Libra wants harmony, peace, and love. Okay. Mars is leaving Libra on Friday the 13th of this month. And I'm not into the Friday the 13th thing. That's not why I said that. It just so happens that the 13th happens to be on a Friday. Okay. So it'll be 1 week after this attack happened on the Sabbath. And we know that the Sabbath runs from Friday evening to Saturday evening. So you're talking about the following Sabbath day, Mars will be leaving Libra and entering the sign of Scorpio. Now, for those of you who understand Scorpio, you know that Scorpio is also ruled by the planet Mars. So Mars rules 2 signs. It rules Aries and it rules Scorpio. Aries is masculine energy. Scorpio is feminine energy. Both of them are warriors. Okay. When people ask me to describe, we know that Mars is the planet of war, or the energy of war and conflict. When people ask me to describe the difference between Aries and Scorpio, if they both are warriors, I explain it in terms of tanks and sniper rifles. Aries is a tank. You see Aries coming, you hear it coming, it's blasting through anything that stands in its way. Scorpio is the energy of the sniper. You don't see that sniper, you don't hear that round that hits you. Okay, that's Scorpio energy. So I'm not making light of it, but what I'm saying is that with Mars entering the sign of Scorpio, I don't see this going away anytime soon. Why? Mars is comfortable in the sign of Scorpio because it's at home in the sign of Scorpio. It's at home in the sign of Aries. So now, instead of you having Mars, which rules over Aries, which is the sign that the North Node is in, instead of you, let's see, whenever Sunday is the first day of the month, there's always a Friday the 13th. Perfect. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that, Michael. Whenever I'm about to repeat what he said, Aries. Okay, so Aries is, what was I just saying about Aries? Aries is ruled by Mars. Okay, Mars and Aries go together. Oh, with the North Node being in Aries right now, but Mars being in Libra, there's this conflict where they want to pull apart. Libra wants to pull Mars into the area of peace, but Mars wants to go in the direction of war. The North Node is in Aries, so Mars is strengthened by the North Node, but is weakened by the sign of Aries. When it leaves Aries, when Mars leaves Libra and enters into the sign of Scorpio, Mars is going to now be energized because it is going to be in harmony with the North Node. And from that sense, because both signs are ruled, Aries and Scorpio are ruled by Mars. Okay. And oh my God, yeah. Thank you for adding that, Lucky Garen. Lucky Garen added that the October 14th is the new moon solar eclipse. So we got a lot of powerful energies hitting the earth right now. And with Mars entering Scorpio and sitting there for the next few months, I don't see this conflict in the land of Israel going anywhere anytime soon. So this is some interesting energy. Yeah, this is some interesting energy. And then let's talk about Pluto. Pluto is the destroyer. Pluto also is the co-ruler of Scorpio. So Pluto right now is in Capricorn, but this Capricorn retrograde is going to end in January. Capricorn is retrograde. I'm sorry, Pluto is retrograde in the sign of Capricorn right now, but it is going to exit out of Capricorn and it's going to return to the sign of Aquarius in January of this coming year. We know that the last time Pluto was in the sign of Aquarius, you had 3 major world revolutions happening. The French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution, and the American Revolution all happened when Pluto was in the sign of Aquarius. What's the significance of that? I'll talk about this. I've talked about this in another video, and maybe by the time this video is over, I'll put these videos I'm referencing in the link in the links in the description box. Pluto is the planet of destruction and regeneration. That is also Scorpio energy. Scorpio is it destroys and then rebuilds. That's what it does. Scorpio is like the phoenix rising from the ashes. Scorpio energy is about destroying that which doesn't work and then replacing it with something that does. Pluto is the planet energy that does the same thing. So with Pluto entering the sign of Aquarius, we know that Aquarius is the rebel and the humanitarian. Aquarius breaks the rules if it means humanity gets elevated. So when you're talking about the last time Pluto was in Aquarius and what happened to rulership structures, the old rulership structures were based in monarchies. We don't see monarchies ruling the world anymore. We don't. The world governments are now ruled by collectives of people, or so they say. But that's a story for another day. Okay. The monarchies were replaced with representative governments because the people were like, hey, we don't have a voice anymore. Out with these kings, and with representative government. Pluto is re-entering Aquarius. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is, with Capricorn being the sign of structure, government, agencies, all of that stuff, and then Pluto leaving Capricorn and then going into Aquarius, you got to ask yourself, do these representative Scorpio's sign of death and transformation? Thank you. That's the word. Transformation was the word I was looking for. And but with Pluto entering the sign of Aquarius, we have to ask ourselves, are these representative governments really working for the people? If they're not, you answer that however you want to answer it. But my point is, if they are not, the energy of Pluto is going to do the same thing here beginning in 2024. And Pluto, I think the longest Pluto sits in the sign is 20 years. So beginning in 2024, you're going to start to see a breakdown of structures that do not serve humanity. So all of this stuff is happening, and to me, it is happening in alignment with Bible prophecy, with prophetic events. I've talked about some of those in other videos. I won't get into that too much in this one, but you guys can kind of scroll through my my library of videos and just kind of look at some of the things I was talking about with regards to prophecy. So the long and short of it is, again, understanding that even though it's not talked about right now, world leaders still use seers, astrologers, oracles, and prophets. Why? Why do leaders do that? I did a video breaking this down. Leaders use the services of astrologers, seers, what's the word I was just saying? It's getting late. It's getting late. Astrologers, seers, prophets, those types of individuals who have these natural gifts. They use these services for one reason and one reason only. They want to hold on to power. They want to hold on to power. So, or they want to get at somebody else who's in power. I think that this is what happened as part of that plan. To me, now it could be coincidental, but I don't believe in coincidences. I think that what happened was planned to happen under the energy of all of those sevens, under that powerful numerology. So y'all hold on to your hat. Now, you know what? I got something else I wanted to show you guys here before I get ready to wrap up, because I found this very interesting as well. 1 week ago, and I'm going to bring this article up. I can show you better than I can tell you. Hang on. I'm losing my voice a little bit, family. Been talking all day. So I'm going to try to wrap this up in just a moment. But the article you see here on the screen, look at the date. I heard this on the radio a week ago, and I found that very interesting. Now, the way my mind works is, and you guys that watch me all the time on this channel, you know that my theme with everything, I'm a writer. For those of you who are new, I'm an award-winning author. October 7th was Putin's birthday is what? Wow. Okay, wow, that's interesting. Didn't know that. But getting back to my point, I was listening to the radio. Oh, you guys that have followed me on this channel for a while, you know how my mind works. You guys know that the central theme with everything that I publish, whether it's a book, a blog post, or a YouTube video, the central underlying theme with everything I do is with every what, there's a connected why. And I'm always trying to determine what that why is, because the why gives us understanding. What good is knowledge if you don't have understanding? That's in the 4th chapter of the book of Proverbs as well. Okay. Pardon me. So he was 70, turning 71. I'll get to that in a second, because I'm a Mercury in Sagittarius, so I can get pulled off of, I can get distracted easily when it comes to conversation. Let me stay on point for just a moment, Carlton. Looking at what happened here. Oh, with every what, there's a connected why. It's listed there in the book of Proverbs, which is a book of wisdom, if you will, that it's one thing to have wisdom, but it's another thing to have understanding. What good is knowledge or wisdom if you don't understand what you're looking at or understand the proper application of it? So this is why I'm always looking for what the why is. What's the why with the what? Okay. So when I saw this article and I heard this news and then I saw it on social media, the first thing that came to my mind is, why is that and why now? Why now? Now, I watch a lot of Israel documentaries. I got a couple of people I follow on YouTube that are Israeli YouTubers that do walking tours. That I've never been to Israel, but they do walking tours that allow you to see the country, different cities, different archaeological places, different like biblical ruins and all of that stuff. That stuff is fascinating to me. So I watch a lot of that. And one of the things I've always held in watching those videos is, I'm like, Israel to me looks like America East. Basically, I mean, yeah, they speak modern Hebrew, but they also speak English. Like you're speaking 2 languages if you live over there. Okay, not even mentioning Arabic. So it's really 3 predominant languages going on over there. But I'm like, okay, Israel and America have been allies since what? The Declaration of the State in 1948. Why now? And so the first thing that came to my mind is, I said to myself, I said, damn, man, something must be getting ready to happen over in Israel if they're dropping passing this new legislation that says Israelis can travel to the U.S. without needing a visa. And then boom, 1 week later, this happens. So now, looking back, I'm asking myself, did somebody high up in our government have a seer that told them that something was coming over there? Like this stuff, y'all, I don't believe in coincidences. I do not. I feel like everything is ultimately divinely orchestrated. Ultimately, it all rolls up to divine will. There's nothing that can happen outside of divine will. Why? Because the book of Psalms says the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, they and all that dwell therein. So to me, ultimately, nothing can happen that does not ultimately roll up to divine will. So I just thought it was interesting that this news dropped, and I'll scroll up for those of you that want to see it. Yeah, I can even put the link in the description box for those of you. You can Google this as well. There's other news outlets that pick this up. I just happened to look at the one on NPR. But for those of you that want to copy and paste that into your browser, I just put it in the chat. So let me go and look at some of these points here. It says, okay, Carlton said Putin's birthday was October 7th. He was 70, turning 71, which is interesting because next year is an 8-year. Next year is an 8-year. 8 holds powerful energy too. 8 is the energy of infinity, but it's also the energy of manifestation. So it begs the question, what other things are we going to see manifesting in 2024? Okay. Looking ahead. If we get there, let me say that. Let me give respect. If we get there, 2024, what other things are going to manifest in 2024? That's an 8-year. All right. And you got the North Node is still going to be in Aries. The South Node's in Libra. So, again, that's the same axis. One wants war. The other wants peace. But they're on the same axis. Yin-yang energy, masculine Mars and feminine Venus. But what is going to what's gonna pop off in 2024 with the North Node being in Aries, and with the North Node being in Aries, and then Pluto entering Aquarius. Now, Lucky Garen said the future looks bleak. You know what's bleak on one hand? There's always two sides to every coin. There's always two sides to every coin. Carlton said April 8th, 2024 is an eclipse or something. Okay, right. And we also know that after a solar eclipse, 2 weeks later, we typically have a blood moon lunar eclipse, right? So the lunar eclipse typically follows the solar eclipse. It's just kind of the way these things work out. So I don't know that there is a blood moon lunar eclipse coming this month. But you guys that are up on that, you can drop it in the chat for the benefit of the people that are here on this live. So you can say on the one hand that the future looks bleak, but on the other hand, it's, the end of one thing is always the beginning of something. And live the best life anyway. That's what I'm saying. Listen, live like tomorrow ain't promised to you, because tomorrow ain't promised to you, right? This is why I move the way I do, family. This is why I live like I live. If you want to do something, do it. Do it. Don't. I mean, I'm saying don't do something stupid that you don't feel is safe. But also don't live your life like, okay, tomorrow, may not come. I mean, yeah, you want to live like tomorrow may not come, but you don't want to worry. I use myself for an example. Back in 2011, I was diagnosed with a rare and deadly form of abdominal cancer, and I didn't focus on the diagnosis as much as I focused on what I wanted my outcome to be. So I just kept living my life. I'm like, man, I'm not going to sit here and cry. And I never once asked the doctor, how much time do I have? A lot of people do that when they get that diagnosis. They'll ask, how much time do I have, doc? I never asked the doctor that. I'm like, you know what, man? All right, I got a tennis tournament. I got to get ready for this in April. I'm playing in that tournament, so let me train. I'm like, all right, what am I going to do this summer? I want to go to the beach. I didn't even listen. I knew what I was dealing with, but I also knew I wasn't going to put all my energy into that. Remember, what you focus on, where attention goes, energy flows. Remember that. So thank you, Lucky. Thank you. So where attention goes, energy flows. So focus your attention on what you want to happen in your life, what you want your life to look like. I mean, of course, pray for peace over there, but also understand, y'all, I say this all the time for those of you who are new to this channel. The Bible, y'all hear me say all the time, I don't consider myself religious. I'm a spiritual person. That being said, I understand that the Bible is a spiritual book that also happens to have the history of a certain people in it. But it is a spiritual book full of spiritual teachings, and it is also a book of prophecy. So the Bible is one of my go-to books when I want to know what's coming ahead. All of this stuff that's happening right now to me, it's the beginning. It's the beginning of the end of one thing and the beginning of something new. So all of this stuff has to pass away. It has to fall away for a beautiful new world to come forth. So we can't get too upset about it. That land has been in turmoil for a long time. It has everything to do with energy, and I cannot wait. I better zip my mouth because I'm really bad about leaking sneak previews. I don't want to tell y'all what I'm working on for this coming Friday night live, but do your homework and watch the Lord of the Rings movies this week if you can carve out time. Those movies are not short. They're roughly 3 hours each, okay? And there are 3 of them. So if you can carve out the time, watch Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, that's part 1. Watch The Two Towers, which is part 2, and then watch Return of the King, which is part 3. I think the energy that the world is in right now, the energy that the earth is in alignment with Lord of the Rings 3, The Return of the King. All right? But I'm going to give you some fascinating, mind-blowing links that I made between that movie series and what's going on in the world. And that's going to be coming up this coming Friday. So we are coming up on an hour. It's about roughly 55 minutes. I hope I left no stone unturned with this particular video covering the war between Israel and Hamas and the link between astrology and numerology. This energy is not going anywhere for a while, people. Yes, pray for peace, absolutely. But understand that some of these events that are happening were prophesied. You look at some of the ancient prophecies in the Old Testament where the Most High said that he was going to call again the captivity of his people, Judah and Israel. Okay. Call again means to call back, to return. So I say this all the time. I got another video talking about universal balance sheets. The universe is balanced. What you put out is got to come back. Okay. So a lot of what's happening, and I said this in that Libra 2023 season video I did that I pulled up on the screen for y'all. Y'all go to my channel. I just dropped it last week. The energy of this Libra season is about restoration. There's some things that are getting, there's some seeds of restoration. Everything's not going to happen in this 1 month, okay? Everything's not going to happen in this one Libra season, but the seeds of restoration are beginning to bloom right now. Right now. When we get to Scorpio season coming up on the heels of this Libra season, Scorpio is all about death and transformation. All right? It's all about death and transformation. So you're looking at about 2 months of some very powerful energies taking place on the planet, and you're going to see a lot of stuff happening. You're going to see a lot of stuff happening. When I did my 2023 predictions video at the beginning of this year, I said a lot of people were going to be getting exposed this year. We've seen it. We've seen it. And there's even more stuff coming out. Look at all these celebrities. I'm not going to name them because some of them to me are disgusting. So I'm not going to name them. But some of them are entertainers. Leave it at that. Some of them are entertainers. A lot of these people are being exposed for the stuff that they did years ago that they thought they were going to get away with. Nobody gets away with anything. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. Whatsoever man sows, that will he also reap. That is real. That's universal law. That's universal law. He who diggeth the pit will fall in it. So when you set in a trap for somebody, you end up falling in your own devices if that person you set that trap for is a righteous one. Now, if they're a wicked one, y'all doing the work of the Most High for him. You're wiping yourselves out. You're wiping yourselves out. I did a video on that. Let me pull that one. What was the name of that? Let me pull that one up real quick for y'all before I go. I'm gonna cut this off in an hour or maybe an hour 5. Give myself a buffer. But let me pull that one up for y'all. Give me 1 second here. All right, let's see. All right, this is the one. Y'all write this down or find it on my channel. Chosen ones, the 2 beneficial reasons why God permits spiritual attacks against you. That kind of explains that to a degree too. God, the Most High, he will use the strongest of the wicked to wipe out the rest of the wicked that they dominate. But then what inevitably always happens is they roll up on a righteous person that ain't bothering nobody, okay? And that has to happen because that's the trap. Because when you roll up on a righteous one that ain't bothering nobody, what did the scriptures say? He said, touch not my anointed, which is my chosen. Anointed means chosen, and it ain't got nothing to do with church religion or somebody laying their hands on you. That's not anointed. You're anointed before birth, meaning you're chosen before birth, okay? So when you talk about that passage of scripture that says, touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm, he meant what he was saying when he said that, okay? So the wicked wipe each other out, and then they come for the righteous, and then that's the end of them. That's how these things work. That's how they work, okay? Y'all can see that in that video. Areas that was being hit today. Zephaniah. Okay, let me check. Let me back up to some of these comments, okay? Let's see. The kingdom got to end. Carlton said the kingdom got to end for a new kingdom to come. That's exactly right. Thank you again. Lucky said you're brave, Matt. Thank you. The letter X will be complete in 2024. That's very interesting. I don't know. Can you elaborate on that, Sharon? Because I'm not familiar with what that means. The letter. I know that Twitter, what's his name? Elon Musk changed the name of Twitter from Twitter to X. But is that what you're referring to, or is there something more? And if you can drop an article in the chat or something, a link, I would love to do that. She said, Matt, I don't see a crystal. So I'm a little vain. I didn't wear it tonight because it didn't look good with what I got on. So I left it at home. I get it honest. I get that from my mom and dad. I get the little bit of vanity I got, the little bit I get from my parents. All right. So that's why I'm not wearing them tonight. But Zephaniah chapter 2 mentions Gaza and Ashkelon. I'm up on Zephaniah. I read that. You know, a lot of these prophecies, some of them are repetitive. Some of them happened in times of old. Some are repetitive. But But I'm here to tell you some of this stuff is, let me say this. There's a passage of scripture where the Most High says through one of the prophets, as high as the heavens are from the earth, that's how far my thoughts are from yours. What I've learned since I had my spiritual awakening back in 2020, what I've learned since then is that when you look at certain things that are happening and you try to maybe hypothesize how certain things are going to come out, whether you're looking at something like these astrological transits right now, and you're listening to other astrologers. I got a few I follow on Instagram. You listen to some of these other astrologers and they telling you this is what I see happening based on this. Or you look at a tarot reading and a tarot reader pulls your energy and says, you know, you're doing a pick a card online or something, and that tarot reader says, this is the energy of these cards right now. So this is what's going to happen to you in life, career, love, finance, all that stuff, whatever. What I've found is that they are typically accurate, but it never happens the way you thought it was. It never happens the way you thought it was going to happen. I think prophecy is the same way. What am I referring to? I'm referring to the prophecy that talks about the Israelites, God gathering the Israelites from all around the earth and placing them back in the land he gave to their fathers, and them rebuilding the waste cities. I didn't quite understand that. I thought maybe it was like, okay, well, they're rebuilding these old rubble, these ancient ruins or whatever. But looking at what's happening right now, I mean, some of the images I've seen online, some of these places are looking like World War II after a bombing run. I'm like, already? So what if that prophecy is talking about rebuilding the waste cities after this stuff happens? Because again, the energy, oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Lucky. Thank you so much. The energy that is present right now, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And we know that these ordinances, as they're called in the book of Isaiah, I believe it is, it's either Jeremiah or Isaiah, but these ordinances were created by the Most High. So when he put these mechanisms in place, they operate on a divine timing schedule. So these things are going to happen until the time is up for them to stop happening and then a new energy to take place. I'm here to tell you we're going to be in that Aries North Node until January of 2025. And that Aries North Node coupled with Pluto in Aquarius, those are some pretty powerful transits. They're pretty powerful transits. And if you look at the previous node, which was Taurus led into Aries, and Taurus has its own kind of energy. And when you look back at the history, y'all, you know what? Let me give y'all a little homework assignment for those of you who like to do who like to do forensic work, if you will. Go and pull up a timeline of the history of Israel. Set that to the side, and then in another window, open up what the North Node transits have been for the last 100 years. And I think you'll find it fascinating to look at what the North Node, what sign the North Node was in when you had these major happenings in the land of Israel, at least in the modern times. Now, I told you early on that it was a 7-year in the 7th season that Israel finally fell back in 70 AD to 3 Roman legions, right? 3 Roman legions. So if you want to take that 12 I was talking about earlier and reduce that, that's a number 3 too. All of this stuff, remember, the universe speaks in numbers, frequency, and vibration. So all of this stuff is divine. And some people may not want to hear that, but there's some prophecies, there's some remaining prophecies in that book that have yet to take place, okay? And I'm going to say this. Some of y'all may not understand what I'm about to say, but just hear it anyway. The time is coming where that book, the Bible, the 66 books and the other books that were not included in it, the time is coming when those books are going to be archived and put away. There are new books already published in the realm of the heavens that go with this forthcoming age. We're exiting the age of Pisces, which is the age of believing, and we are transitioning into the age of Aries. I'm sorry, the age of Aquarius, which is the age of knowing. This is the video, y'all. If y'all missed my live from Friday night, go to my channel, click the live tab, and look at the live titled what was it? Let me just go here since I'm here. It was titled "What is Faith?" Okay, y'all go and look at that if you haven't seen it. I did that one Friday night. Y'all take a look at that live because I talk about some of these principles in there. But with this faith is knowing. Faith, I said in that video, faith is knowing and inner knowing, sight unseen, meaning I don't need to see it, I don't need to hear it. I know that it's going to happen. And I don't mean I don't need to hear it, because we know that faith comes by hearing. I rewrote that scripture, if you will. That scripture says faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. As a writer, I can understand when there was a bad translation, or what I consider to be a bad translation. I think that should have read, faith comes by hearing the word of God. So what is the word of God? The word of truth. Everyone has a truth register inside of them, such that when you hear the truth, you accept it or you reject it. Okay. The Most High going to teach us everything. That's right. So the thing is, the age of Aquarius is about knowledge of the truth. The age of Pisces was about believing. So religion was a product of believing. I'm going to tell you this. I know maybe you don't know it, but believe it. And that was fine for the age of Pisces. But belief ain't flying no more. You're not going to have to believe, because you're already going to know. So these books are going to be put away, and there's going to be new books. These books are going to be archived, because these books go with the things that were a part of the age of Pisces. So these are interesting times we're living in. And if you are alive right now, you are here. To me, you are blessed to be alive right now. I know some people think that this is the letter has to do with the solar eclipse. Got it. Thank you, Sharon. I know that a lot of people think that this is a terrible time to be living, but I'm here to tell you, I'm excited because I feel like we all got front row seats to seeing an energy return to the earth that has not been seen for thousands of years. There's a passage of scripture somewhere that says the souls of the righteous cry before the Lord daily. Like how long? I mean, to paraphrase, they cry before him daily with regards to the suffering that is going on. How long are you going to allow this to happen to us? The ancients knew who the Most High was. The ancients knew who the Most High's pick was. The ancients knew these things. This is why I'm not going to get into it. That's going to be another lesson, y'all. I'm getting ready to wrap this live up. Listen, I love each and every one of you guys. You guys could have been anywhere on a Sunday evening. A lot of us could have been watching Sunday Night Football, watching them Dallas Cowboys. Has got so much dust on them on their last trophy that if you blow it off, you're going to cough. No shade if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, if you're still watching football. But a lot of us could have been watching NFL. A lot of us could have been doing something else. And you guys chose to be here and spend an hour of your time with me. I do not take that lightly. I love each and every one of you guys. I say this in all my videos. You guys are the fuel that keeps this work. You guys help keep this work going. This is not easy work. The work that I do is not easy. It's not easy because it goes against mainstream thought. So this is not easy, but I feel like I was sent here to do it. And you guys help make it easier. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Listen, I'll end this video like I end them all. Tell somebody you love them and mean it. How do you mean it? You got to show it. All right. Love is a verb. It is a noun as well. But when we focus on the verb, which is showing love, the noun version, the state of being, always takes care of itself. God bless you too. Thank you, Michael. Y'all share this video with somebody you think might be interested in it. There are interesting things happening in the world right now. And if you know, this is why I said in my last video, if your pastor, for those of you who are still attending church, and I'm not knocking you if you do, but if your pastor is not teaching prophecy and identity, he's failing you. Prophecy 1, identity 2. Actually, it should be reversed. He should be preaching identity number 1 and then prophecy number 2. Why? Because the prophecy that remains to be fulfilled has to deal with the identity of whom the Most High said he scattered to the 4 corners of the earth, and the identity of who he's going to deal with when he returns. And that energy is going to return incarnate. We're going to see it. And God bless you if you're on the right side of that energy. I would say God help you if you're on the wrong side of it, but he ain't going to be trying to help you salt. Anyway, man, I love y'all, man. Y'all have a great evening. Peace, family. Don't forget, next Friday, I'm going to be breaking down the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and showing you the link between that film series. I think I believe it was J.R. Tolkien was his name, I believe, is the original writer. I think that he perhaps had a vision or knowledge of what is really happening in the world. I think he had the ability to see beyond the illusion. So when my eyes were open to what I was seeing in Lord of the Rings, it was mind blowing. And you see some of these same themes in some modern shows. I said this in the last video. I'll say it in this one for the benefit of those who have not seen it. Amazon Prime Video has a series called The Wheel of Time. Fascinating series. Y'all probably want to check that out. They just wrapped up season 2 this past Friday. So there are eight episodes per season. You could probably binge watch it in a weekend. But there's some very interesting themes in that series as well. So a lot of these Hollywood writers are sharing with us some hidden knowledge, and they're doing it in the form of entertainment. So I love you, Sharon. Thank you so much. Thank you for adding that. Thank you for adding that. She said, shalom and blessing to all. The joy of Yah is our strength. Yes, yes. So that's it, family. That's it. Y'all check out, if you want to do the homework, check out Lord of the Rings, the 3 movies. And I'll be breaking that down in next Fridays or next weekends, because I said I'm getting away from Friday because something might come up and I may not be able to do it Friday. These are called weekend lives. So my next weekend live, I'll be breaking that down. Now, what I was originally going to say, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get off of here, all right? Because I'm looking at 111 on the clock. That's an angel number. The video I was originally going to do before I was led to do this one had to deal with the soul link, if you will, the energy between David and Bathsheba. I'm going to share something with you that's going to possibly blow your mind if you don't know this, but I'm going to put you up. I'm going to put you on some new knowledge about David and Bathsheba. I'm going to break that down for y'all. And you're going to leave there like, wow, wow. So that'll be in a video I do this coming week. So y'all look for that video where I'll be breaking down David and Bathsheba. That won't be a live. That'll be an on-demand video. So yeah, I may premiere it. It depends on how long it is. Typically, if my videos are shorter than 20 minutes, I don't premiere them. I just put them up. But if it's longer than 20 minutes, I premiere them because I like to watch them with you guys. But anyway, I'm losing my voice. So you guys have a good night. I love you guys. Peace.